All right, I think all of our participants have joined. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today and being a part of this amazing panel discussion that we're hosting. During today's panel, we're going to learn about the state of homelessness in our community, some of the ways that Families Together and our partners are combating homelessness, our vision and goals to build a future of affordable housing in our area. My name is Sarah Wood, and I am currently serving as an at-large board member for Families Together, and I have had this honor for the last 6 years, and I am hooked and hoping to continue to serve as long as they'll have me. And it's my pleasure to introduce the rest of our panelists today, beginning with Kellen Moore, who is the president and CEO of the John Rex Endowment. Kellen collaborates with organizations in Wake County that work to fulfill the mission of the John Rex Endowment to support an environment that allows children and families to live healthy lives. Hi, Kellen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's so great to be here today. Welcome, everyone.
Our next speaker is Lisa Rowe, who is the Executive Director of Families Together. She has served in this capacity for 6 years, working to bring the strategic vision of bringing donors and sister organizations together to better serve our community members experiencing homelessness. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Our next speaker is Harriet Reynolds, and she is the Financial Empowerment Lead at Families Together. She has been working in the nonprofit sector overseeing financial security programs for over 14 years. Harriet ensures that families served by Families Together have the tools, knowledge, and confidence to thrive beyond their time with our organization. Hi, Harriet. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Sarah. Welcome, everyone.
And lastly, I have the pleasure of introducing Star Brantley, who is a former program graduate, current Families Together Advocacy Committee member, and she will be a Families Together intern this summer as she completes her urban planning degree at East Carolina University. Hi, Star. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Star.
Okay, so our panelists will be answering questions at the end of the presentation, so please feel free to type your questions into the chat anytime through our discussion, and we'll be saving some time at the end where we'll review questions and feed them back to our panelists to have them answered. And now as we begin, I'd like to start with a poll just to get everyone thinking about the state of student homelessness in Wake County. So how much does everyone think Wake County student homelessness has increased since 2010? If you can take a moment and just fill in your vote. And I'm going to turn it over to Lisa and Kellen to give us the answer and discuss things a little further.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'll start with giving you what people, well, I guess everybody saw that is gone now, but the correct answer, unfortunately, is an increase of 104%. Last year, the number of children experiencing homelessness was estimated to be 6,000, and the number increases every year. The number of those with a motel as their address has seen a huge increase in the past several years and now accounts for 20% of the homeless student population, up from about 10 to 12% a few years ago. So we're really seeing an increase in that population. So yeah, it's increasing dramatically. Before we get started, I just want to make a note, just let everybody know that my internet was acting up this morning. So I'm working on the back deck at Jennifer Paul's house. So I apologize in advance if there are any distractions, outdoor noises. It's a nice day to be out here, so I can't complain. Okay, to start things off, Kellen, can you talk a little bit about the John Rex Endowment and how the Families Together mission of moving families from homelessness to home connects to the endowment's mission and goals?
Sure. Well, it's great to be here with everyone to talk about this very important issue. And so for us, the focus of the endowment for the past 21 years has all been about children. And specifically right now, we're looking to address the social, emotional health and well-being of children and their families, and to create environments in which children can live their full potential. So obviously those experiencing homelessness, we know the impact that has social emotionally on children. Additionally, we place a high value on three things very similar to Families Together. We're really about prevention. We'd like to focus on how do we prevent children from being homeless in the first place. We also are focused, like Families Together, on improving systems and other social influencers of health that negatively impact the social, emotional, behavioral health and well-being of children, like experiencing homelessness. And then we try to center equity, specifically racial equity, in all the work that we do. And so that also, I know, aligns with the work of Families Together. So again, we just appreciate the partnership, Lisa, and hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. Thank you. We have had a long partnership with the John Rex Endowment. This year marks 10 years of ongoing partnership between our organizations, which is pretty amazing. The partnership predates both of us in our respective positions,
Yes.
but there's been a common thread in the endowment's investment in Families Together, and that is capacity building. Mm-hmm. Why does the endowment focus on this rather unique type of support for nonprofit organizations like ours?
Right. So we've been focused on nonprofit capacity building in different forms, really for the past 13 years. So it's always about building the capacity of the sector. So our work with Families Together has been about building people and organizational capacity so that you all can do what you do best, more effectively and efficiently. It also helps position organizations, and specifically Families Together, for growth, for opportunity, and for managing through the good and bad times, including this pandemic, or scaling your work when the need demands it. So some people say, well, what do we mean by capacity building? And for us, it's still evolving and emerging to keep up with the needs of organizations, because it's not a one size fits all. But specifically, a lot of times it has to do with an organizational assessment to see what comes out of that, having an outside consultant come and help assess the infrastructure or organizational assessment. It can include strategic planning, resource development, board and governance, as well as how to develop more strategic partnerships. And so a big part of our nonprofit capacity building is also creating space or cohorts so that nonprofits can learn from each other on the journey. And that's the type of work we've been supporting with Families Together.
Great. And I think we've probably been through most of those phases that you outlined over the years. Capacity building work is vitally important to us. It gives me and our leadership team access to outside expertise. It helps to form and guide the thoughtful planning and execution that's necessary to tackle societal problems like family homelessness and a lack of affordable housing. Right. In fact, it was the work that was done 5 to 10 years ago that really, the program evaluation and the metrics that we put into place back then that raised alarms about 4 years ago about things like the ever increasing time it was taking to move families into permanent housing, skyrocketing rents, and escalating childhood homelessness. So we took this data and fed it into our strategic plan, and that resulted in the decision to evolve our organization with a new focus on affordable housing and advocacy. And then with a multi-year grant from the endowment, we launched an affordable housing initiative in mid-2019.
Great. Well, Lisa, can you talk a little bit more about AHI, I guess you call it, or the Affordable Housing Initiative, like what's gone well and what hasn't so far? And then I guess we have to keep it in the context of the impact of the pandemic the last year, how that could have helped or hindered that progress. Could you speak a little bit more about that?
Sure, yes. So I'll talk a second about what's gone well. The Bridge Housing Program, which works to move families out of motels and provides them with the opportunity to save money into and move into permanent housing, has gone really well. Owning and renovating properties and becoming a landlord has gone well because we can set rents at amounts that are truly affordable, and we can accept tenants with barriers that other landlords automatically reject. Our financial health advocates position has been incredibly impactful, with people saving money like never before, paying off debt, repairing credit, and establishing budgets. Our master lease program has gone well to some degree. We've been able to test out the model and have determined that the impact on the families is positive. but the impact on our bottom line, not so much. So we're pivoting by seeking to employ the same model, but in properties that we own. And absolutely the work that we did gearing up to expand and enhance our programs and add components like bridge housing, master leasing, and financial empowerment helped to position us for a swift response to the pandemic. We very quickly ramped up our team, took on several short-term programs to significantly to address significant needs in the community in response to COVID.
That's great. Well, Lisa, one thing I've always observed and respected about the Families Together is your ability as a team and a board to focus on the immediate needs of families in crisis, stabilize those needs while still prioritizing the importance of planning for the future, and disrupting those systems that work against what you're trying to do within your mission. So I just really wanted to lift that up and also tell you how much I appreciated the integration of advocacy into accomplishing those policy changes and lifting the voice of community, and how those efforts, I know, contributed to the passing of the housing bond. I know you all took some leadership in that. Could you speak a little bit more to that, Lisa, on how your advocacy has really helped advance your mission?
Sure. In terms of advocacy, one of the initiatives, as you mentioned, that we were really involved with was the passing of the Raleigh housing bond. I was on the advisory council, and our advocacy committee helped to communicate information about the bond and to garner support. It passed with an overwhelming majority last fall, and beginning this year, funds will be available for a range of things, including land acquisition along bus transit lines, support for tax credit property development, and starting this summer, there will be $2 billion available annually for small scale nonprofit projects targeting those at extremely low incomes. So we definitely plan to tap into these funds to support our development efforts. And it's coming soon.
Wow, that's so exciting. Thank you, Lisa. So what else, as we wrap up here a little bit, like what else do you think you want to share that is unique about Families Together's new approach to helping, families achieve that long-term housing success that is the ultimate goal?
So we currently we have a team of 3 stabilization mentor advocates, all of whom hold a Master of Social Work degrees, and they work with families once they're housed to provide services, support, connection to resources to help ensure that they maintain housing. It's critical to long-term success, and it's a big reason why so many of our families, the families that we work to house, actually stay housed. We also now have a new component, the financial health piece. And so that was started a year and a half ago, and it complements the stabilization team. We have, because it was going so well and making such an impact, we have recently expanded it. We now have a team, and soon you'll be hearing from Harriet, who is the lead of that team, about the expanded services that we're offering now that will make, I think, a big difference in long-term stability for a lot of families. And a couple of other things I think you asked about on the horizon.
Yeah.
We have some exciting things. We plan to expand our emergency shelter this year. We're looking to develop cottage court housing. You'll hear a little bit more about that from Sarah later. And we're looking to acquire some new properties that have come, perhaps will be available to us soon. So a lot of big things happening this year and next.
Well, congratulations on, that adaptive leadership that I see in you all the time, because the environment's changing, and yet there is a constant here that the 104% increase in it's just an issue that can't go without some direct attention. And so I sleep better at night. I'm sure everybody on this call sleeps better at night knowing that Families Together is on the job. And so I'm just so grateful for all that you all do. I know it's got to be personally taxing for you and your staff. And so we just invite you all to take care of your social, emotional health and well-being as you also try to take care of the well-being of children and families you serve. So thanks for all you do. It's been great to be here today.
Thank you so much, Cal, and we really appreciate your partnership, and thanks for joining us today. We'll go ahead and move into our next session, but before we do that, we have another poll, and it has to do with income. So the question is, what is the hourly wage income required to afford the average 2-bedroom apartment in Wake County? Is it $7.25 an hour? Is it $15.49 an hour, or is it $19.73 per hour? And to give us the answers, Harriet Reynolds will be up next. Thanks.
So surprisingly, most of you out there, the majority of you actually got the answer right. It actually takes $19.73 to live in Wake County. Actually, they're affordable. To have an average 2-bedroom apartment, it takes $19.73. For most of our families that we serve, the majority of our families make about $11 an hour. And so as you can see, that is an incredible gap between what is needed and what our families actually earn. And many of our families, when they are looking for places to live, they usually want property managers' apartments 2.5 to 3 times the rent. So if you quickly do the math, you can see that $11 an hour isn't going to quite make it for most of our families, which is only one of the obstacles our families faces when it comes to affordable housing and financial stability. And so, of course, our agency knew that. And with the help of Rex Endowment, thank you very much, the agency created a position which I am passionate about. It is called Financial Health Advocate. And because of that position, for a little over a year and a half, I was able to, in that role, work with our families on some of the issues in regards to finances that we knew was a barrier. And some of the things that I was able to work with the families on is money management, and not just budget. I was able to go beyond budget because there's a lot of things that people weren't taught about money and how to manage their money. So I was able to do a deeper dive with the families around budgeting. Another area is credit, and helping our families understand the impact, the pros and cons of good credit and bad credit. And so I was able to work really more in depth and more one-on-one with our families in regards to their credit. Another big barrier was debt. Not only debt with credit cards, but some of our families had evictions. And as you know, an eviction is going to be a major barrier to obtaining housing. So I'm happy to say that we were able to also help our families work on those debts, eliminate evictions. And for the year and a half, we were able to see, the work and the impact that we had on our families. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of examples, which I'm really happy about and proud of. So we had one family who was actually in the master lease program that Lisa was talking about. And we began our work with her. She had goals to save money. She wanted to buy a car. More importantly, she wanted to make sure that she and her family never became homeless again. So for the years, that we worked, and then she moved to stabilization, and of course, stabilization, continued that good work. But during that time, she was able to save $6,000. She got the car that she, through Wheels for Hope, one of our wonderful partnerships, and she moved on to permanent housing. And I do believe that this is going to be one of those great success stories years from now, who will never be in that cycle of homelessness again. We had another client that I was able to work with for a little over a year, and she was one of our faithful attendants to our wonderful workshops. And she called late last year, and just wanted to give me an update on what was going on with her. And she let me know that she's paying her bills on time, she's saving money, she has an emergency fund. She raised her credit score to a 750. And because she raised her credit score, she was able to get um, a good, affordable, with a good interest rate, reliable transportation for her and her family. And one other note, her daughter is headed to NC State in the engineering program. So we're really, really happy about that. So obviously with those two successes and many, many more, we knew that one person couldn't do all the work that needed to be done. So like Lisa said, there was a vision to expand the program. And so the Financial Empowerment Employment Team, which came about as a pilot, but it was birthed, and the team is an amazing team. And the way that we were able to do it is we brought on board two wonderful public allies. The first member of our team is Tanisha Davis, and Tanisha is our employment advocate. And Tanisha works very closely with our families around employment, helping them have professional resumes, mock interviews, career assessments, encouragement and support around helping our families, those who are unemployed, helping them find jobs that are suited to their skills and their work experience. She also works with our clients who need to increase their income. Obviously, if you need $19.73, you're going to need to increase your income. So we have clients that are definitely interested in doing that. And she also helps our clients who need to go back to school. Some of our clients are never going to get to that $19.73. They haven't completed high school. And so we're working with helping our clients who not only want to complete their high school education, some of our clients have a desire to go back to school, go back to college, and then some of our clients want to go to trade school. So we also help our clients with that. And in addition, we have Megan Dale. Megan gets to work in both sides of the team. She works on the employment side, again, supporting our clients with their resumes and things like that, but she also works on the financial health side. So we've been able to expand what I do by having Megan do what we call financial reviews. She works with our clients on budgets and saving, their financial goals, helping them, of course, eliminate debt, everything that my position previous did as well. The other exciting thing about Megan's role is, of course, again, this is a pilot program, so it's new. And so we want to be able to show the impact that this team and the work that we do is really having on our, for the agency and of course for the clients that we serve. And so Megan has helped us develop a way to capture that information. She's what I call our data specialist. And so we're using that data to look at outcomes. We're using that to look at successes. We're also using that data that we're collecting even at our workshops. We're able to determine how much knowledge, which I'm a big fan of, knowledge is power, that's empowerment. But she's also gathering out that information from our workshops. How much knowledge have they gained by attending our workshops? So that's really important piece. But one of the biggest pieces that was kind of missing again was that employment piece. And what the team has actually been able to do is expand our work through partnerships. And so we've been successful in establishing some really, really good partnerships, of course, with Wake County, in helping our clients being able to go to school, increase that education to hopefully increase their income, or just be on a really good career path, not just a job, but helping them even with a career path. And then we also have a partnership with Labor Finders, which is a really amazing partnership because now they're calling us. They're letting us know when jobs are available or things like that. So that's very important, the work that we've done. And so we're very proud about that. And so we're really excited about it. We're hoping that the work that we do definitely becomes permanent within our agency, and so that we can continue on with the successes that we've already had. And speaking of successes, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce one of our graduates from Families Together, Star Brantley. Star, I didn't work with Star, but I heard a lot of good things about her from her mentor advocate. But I got to meet Star from Star coming to our workshops. And I'm hoping that our workshops was one of the reasons that led to her great success. And we're also very proud to say that, again, she's currently a student. She's currently a student at East Carolina University, completing her degree in urban planning. Welcome, Star.
First of all, I am so excited to be here. I thank you all for having me. Families Together holds a very dear place in my heart, as I was a displaced mother of two small children who are attending school now, but we were displaced back in 2018 and found ourselves all the way from across the country and homeless. I had a 2-month-old at the time and a 4-year-old, and I found myself in a position that was scary. I was able to get connected with Families Together. I had goals and I had some ambition, but I needed some components to kind of come together to make things happen for us. I was able to work with the mentor advocate, and we were able to be housed. From there, working with my daughter, who was 4 at the time, she had a speech impediment when we came here to North Carolina and had to relocate. And since being housed within a couple months, I was able to get her enrolled in a daycare and with a speech therapist that was able to help her. And she pretty much just took off. And I know the component of us being in a stable place and being able to get ourselves on our feet was a huge component to that. So much to the point where she became valedictorian in the first school that she attended, and then proceeded to move on to a private school where she received a scholarship at age 5, and is taking above level classes. So that's just a huge component of having, children that are able to thrive when there is some stability there. Additionally, I was able to get enrolled immediately after being housed. About 2 months in, I was able to get enrolled in school. I had plans to get a degree. So of course I would be able to make the money that would allow me to sustain and take care of my children. So I'm currently a student at East Carolina University for urban planning. And with that, I feel a duty to give back because I have been in a situation of homelessness, and it's a very scary situation, and it can be a situation that has the legs to be detrimental depending on which way you go. So I'm extremely grateful for the help from Families Together, because we were able to stabilize. I will be graduating with my bachelor's in science and urban planning next year, and I've been working hand in hand with Families Together to work in the affordable housing sector and be able to give back in a way that I pretty much can relate to, because I've been there. So ultimately, all of the components that were there, as far as the stabilization team, played a huge part. Being able to work on my credit and get my score to a place that I'm, going to be able to purchase a home was super important. And just being able to have that support system, because motherhood, being a single mother, that is a huge responsibility. And then at the same time, in trying to stabilize yourself, having that support system there is extremely vital in being able to get things done. So I am extremely grateful for them for that. And in moving forward, and everything that they offer, I feel is an absolute gem for people that have been displaced.
Thank you so much, Star, for your story. And thank you, Harriet, for your knowledge, and Lisa and Kellen for your knowledge and your sharing as well. I also interned at Families Together, and that's how I got connected with the organization. It was about 9 years ago, and I was a social work student, and I had the opportunity to work as a junior mentor advocate with the program. It both exposed me to what I would consider the invisible problem of family homelessness. I think for a lot of individuals, when they think about homelessness, it's not maybe as representative to the issues that we have in Wake County, because our homeless families are couch surfing or staying in hotels. And so you're hearing about it through the school social worker or through friends, and these mothers and fathers and grandparents are doing everything that they can to normalize and keep their children as steady and stable as possible, just like Star was doing with her kids. And so it's a bit more of an invisible problem. So it exposed me to that. And I just fell in love with the way that Families Together served our community and the needs of those experiencing homelessness in our community. I noticed that we filled gaps that were there, like being able to provide shelter for larger families, families of 6, 8, 10. Not a lot of agencies were able to do that. And also a gap for non-traditional families. So learning that mothers with sons over a certain age couldn't stay together in shelter, or fathers who had young daughters and were single dads, they couldn't stay together. Maybe non-traditional families, grandparents raising grandchildren, multi-generational families. Families Together was able to serve and provide shelter for those families. I also loved the programming that we did, like what Harriet talked about, to provide that long-term empowerment to help set families on the right course for success and long-term stability. And also the difference that we're making in the community, not just to deal with the shelter component and the rehousing component, but also to look at the systemic issues that are contributing to family homelessness, and trying to move forward with advocacy and making a difference to try to end homelessness and family homelessness in our community and increase the amount of affordable housing that is available. So I wanted to just give a little bit about my experience with Families Together. Obviously, I fell in love with it because as soon as I graduated, I said, how can I join the board and how can I stay on the board and continue to stay involved? And one of the things that was really exciting in the last year was a glimpse of our recent duplex renovation project that we did. We actually put a video together for all of you to get a little glimpse inside that work and our future plans for some of the undeveloped land where that housing is located. So if we could go ahead and pull that up.
In 2020, under our newly launched Affordable Housing Initiative, Families Together bought a house from a local church and began extensive renovations. The property would be used to create new rental housing that would be affordable for 2 families transitioning from homelessness. The house was divided into 3 separate bedrooms to accommodate larger families in our program. We are so grateful for all of our donors, volunteers, and partners who helped make this project a success. The extensive grounds will be used to build 8 to 9 cottage homes, so Families Together can accommodate even more families in the future. To learn more, visit our website at familiestogethernc.org/hope-begins-anew.
I hope you all enjoyed that video and the transformation, and just a thank you again to all of the hardworking volunteers and all of our donors who helped make that possible. At the end of the video, you might have heard us mention potentially using that land to develop something called a cottage court development. So I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit more about what that is. It's a new model of affordable housing. And so a cottage court is a group of small houses that face inward to a common open green space, which would be ideal for a play area for families with children, and also just an opportunity for the community to connect and really foster a sense of community. These are becoming common in different parts of the country as a way to provide affordable housing and, again, create community. The city of Raleigh recently changed its building code to allow for cottage court developments on lots like the one we showed in the video. And the most recent building ordinance change would allow about up to 24 homes on a 1.5 acre lot. And as we mentioned on the video, our goal is to really pilot this model by building a grouping of 8 to 9 cottage homes and follow that with additional groupings to be built on the same lot in later phases. And what we're really hoping for out of this is to inspire other organizations within Wake County to see how successful the cottage court model can be and see what we've provided and what we've built and empower them to go on and do the same and create pockets of and communities of affordable housing in Wake County. And so, you know, a lot of what we're talking about today relates back to Lisa and Kellen's discussion with that capacity building work and the difference that that has made in our organization to continue to help us evolve with new skills and expertise for our staff and our board members that we've acquired in areas that are really necessary for us to scale up as an organization. And again, go from not just helping individuals experiencing homelessness, but really helping to combat the issue of affordable housing in Wake County. In the last 18 months since we've launched our affordable housing initiative, we actually have added 18 affordable units in our community. And we're poised to continue to expand the innovative housing solutions and strategic community partnerships that Lisa and Kellen discussed to do even more to end family homelessness. One of the other big honors that we've had in the last year, and this was in late 2020, and some of you might have heard this, but Families Together was honored to be selected for a large one-time grant from the Jeff Bezos Day One Families Fund. And this was a huge opportunity for us. It really catapulted us ahead in some of our strategic planning that we've been doing. And it allowed us to pay off all of our mortgages and then do things like renovating duplexes, purchasing more affordable housing units, and just start moving forward on some of the larger strategic goals that we've had in the past few years. And I wanted to go a little deeper into some of our goals and kind of talk to you more in depth about the 4 large goals that we've set for 2021. The first goal is expand our emergency family shelter. I mentioned a little bit about this in my love story with Families Together and how on the same building area, if you come to visit us, it's our offices are downstairs, and then we have larger scale emergency family shelter units on site. And what we have right now are about 4 units, and we're hoping to scale that capacity up to 10 private apartment units. And how we differentiate emergency family shelter, when you hear the word shelter, you might think of a communal living situation. And our emergency units are actually private apartments, and they're large apartments so that, again, they can accommodate larger families, but it does give a little bit more privacy and a little bit more area for stability, a little bit more structure that the family can have. And so it's really exciting for us to continue to grow that and scale that from 4 to 10. Our units are currently, we're hoping to do 6 3-bedroom units, 3 2-bedroom units, and then an efficiency that we can be multi-use. We can use it as an efficiency unit, but it can also be converted to a training space to host our workshops or a children's playroom if it's not needed for shelter. Our next goal is to continue as a lead housing support responder. So we'll continue to provide homeless families with housing search and placement, temporary rent and utility assistance, life skills training, connection to community resources, and intensive case management, which are the services that we currently provide. And what we've seen during this pandemic is the disproportionate impact that it has had on extreme low income families. And so we're going to continue to have a lead role as a housing support provider in our community's coordinated response, giving these types of families priority right now with the higher need that they have. Our next goal ties into what Harriet was talking about, and it is to launch and pilot a financial empowerment and employment project. And so as Harriet noted, this new project is already showing great promise. It's both improving the financial health and well-being of the families that we house and also connecting them to better paying jobs. We want to grow and institutionalize this critical work because it's so necessary for families to achieve financial stability in order to achieve long-term housing success. And our last goal is the one that I have just spoken about, but it is to plan our cottage court development. We are very excited about the promise of this type of community. I would encourage all of you, it helped me to visualize when we first started talking about this, to Google image cottage court developments. And you can kind of see what we're talking about. Again, single story to 1.5 story, beautiful green space in the middle. And it just provides a real sense of community and a sense of opportunity to be an affordable housing provider. It's a great way to create that affordable housing for families who are transitioning out of homelessness. Ultimately, we could build up to 24 small homes on the land that we currently own. And because we own the land and carry no debt, our future costs to build are going to be much lower. It's a great location, which is also really important because we're located near downtown Raleigh, and we're just about 2 blocks away from the forthcoming bus rapid transit that's going to be happening on the New Bern Avenue corridor. And so one of the things that we face when we're working with families and we're trying to do rehousing and trying to help them locate affordable housing is how important it is to have a close proximity to reliable public transportation. And so the fact that our emergency shelter and office are located that close, and then this property where we're planning the cottage court development is also located that close, will again set families up for future success. So thank you all for giving me the opportunity to go through those goals with you and talk to you a little bit more about that. And I wanted to also talk about the triple match that is forthcoming. And you might be on this call as a professional working in the affordable housing issue, as a board member or volunteer of Families Together, or you might be someone who's looking to just learn a little bit more about affordable housing, hoping to get involved, or just hoping to learn a little bit from, during your lunchtime today. And so building a future of affordable housing in our area is going to take each and every one of us doing what we can to support affordable housing policies, equitable development strategies, and organizations that are on the front lines working to move the needle for families who are in need of safe, dignified, and affordable housing. I encourage you to visit our website, which is at familiestogethernc.org, to learn more about Families Together and ways that you can get involved, or if you're already involved, different ways that you can deepen your involvement. And one exciting way that you can help us achieve the goals that we discussed today is to make a donation 1 week from today. So mark your calendars. That is Tuesday, April 27th. And that is a very special day because it is a triple match day. And what that means is that we have a match fund of $21,000, and donations will be tripled by that match fund. And so I wanted to just help you understand the difference that stretching that dollar can make and give you some concrete examples of how your donations make a difference. So if you think about it, $50 would triple into $150, and that would provide lights in the bathroom of a new shelter unit for a family getting ready for work, bathing their kids. Think about how important light is in the bathroom. $100 would triple to $300, and that could keep a family together for 8 nights in a new shelter unit. $250 would triple up to $750, and that would provide 23 hours of credit counseling, budgeting, and employment support. Think about the difference that that amount of education and financial empowerment could make in an individual's life. $500 would triple to $1,500, and that holds 3 stakeholder planning sessions to create a shared community vision for the cottage court development. And lastly, $2,000 would triple into $6,000, which gives us the ability to create a blueprint for a replicable cottage court model for other organizations to use and impart in our community. So this is a unique one-day opportunity when donations will be tripled in value by this match fund. If you're interested in supporting our goals and making a life-changing difference for families experiencing homelessness in our community, next Tuesday, April 27th, would be a great time to give to Families Together. I again wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to learn with us today, hear about our mission, hear about our partnerships, our goals, and the state of affordable housing and family homelessness in Wake County. I think we've had some good questions come through. I wanted to thank Danielle, who's been running everything behind the scenes, making sure everything goes really smoothly today. And Danielle, I wanted to turn over the question and answer to you. I know you're going to pull up all of our wonderful panelists and kind of send the questions our way for answers.
Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to throw out some of these questions that we have received and answer at will panelists. Our first question is, how many clients are served by the financial health advocates?
Harriet, do you know?
I don't know an exact number, but I do know that we work with all the clients. So our clients come directly from our mentor advocates, whether it's in the pre-housing side or on the stabilization side. So any of the clients that are in our program, we actually work with. So I would say all the clients. whatever that number may be.
And at any given time, we typically have about 110 families enrolled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we could potentially be working with 110 families at any given time.
Do you partner with organizations that have clients experiencing homelessness? If so, who and how do you connect with these organizations?
Yes, we do. We partner with other, well, we work with the Partnership to End and Prevent Homelessness and the Continuum of Care in our community. That's a collection of organizations like ours that provide services for homeless individuals and families. So we're really connected with a large number of them. But we work with families that are in other shelters. Sometimes they're staying in another shelter. We get matched to them through the partnerships process of coordinated access, and then we work to get them rehoused. So we'll handle the rehousing aspect. We have a lot of other partnerships aside from shelters that provide services and resources like cars, like Harriet mentioned, Wheels for Hope. The Green Chair Project provides furnishings for all of our families when they get housed, and not just furnishings, but everything needed to start up a household, from dishes to pots and pans to linens. So that's a really wonderful partnership. Human service agencies, employment agencies. Harriet, what am I missing?
We partner with agencies like the Food Bank, Dress for Success. So agencies like that help us, our clients, with employment and other general needs that they may have, especially around food and just basic needs. So we partner with agencies to help our clients with that as well.
To what part of your program will the triple match be directed? Is it toward the general budget or for something specific?
Sarah, do you want to take that? Or I think basically what we're looking for it to help support are the items that Sarah outlined, and specifically the expansion of our shelter and the planning work that's about to begin, or actually it already has begun, on the cottage court development and other, so it's not general operating. There are a few targeted initiatives that we're hoping to fund with these dollars.
Thank you. And how do you plan to connect with One Wake, or are you already doing so?
We have several board members who are involved with One Wake. We are also part of a group that we helped to start maybe a couple of years ago with Habitat, called the Wake Affordable Housing Collaborative. And it's a group of providers of affordable housing like us, and includes like CASA, DHIC, Raleigh Area Land Trust, Passage Home. And we meet monthly, and our thinking is that perhaps we could join as the coalition, rather than each of us individually joining. So we've had some discussions about that, and we could share in the cost of it. They're doing a lot of really important work, and I think are a really great resource for the community. But we haven't, I've been to a couple of meetings, but we haven't joined ourselves, but may do so in the future with the WAC, the Wake Affordable Housing Coalition.
What opportunities exist for senior volunteers, professional mentors, technical assistants, and others?
Harry, do you want to take that one? I'm thinking like workshops, helping with things along those lines are always plus.
Yeah, one of the partnerships that I was just thinking that we forgot is 4-H. And so right now, it's been a while because of COVID, but they have some excellent opportunities for us to have workshops and activities. They have some really creative programs that we're working on to be able to give, to provide to our clients, hopefully soon. And one of the things that we would need is we need individuals that could potentially take their training and help us grow our 4-H partnership as a 4-H leader. And so we're always looking for, well, at least now we are. Some of our seniors could possibly, take on that role if they like working with kids, and they've expanded the ages of the kids too. So now it's from like age 5 all the way up to age 18, whereas before we were just working with teens. So I think that would be an incredible opportunity for some of our seniors to connect with us as we work with 4-H, Wake County 4-H.
And I think too, Harriet, the needs change, right? So if someone reaches out, they can speak with, our volunteer coordinator, learn a little bit more about the opportunities that are out there. And we can also be a bit creative based on what skills people are bringing to the table to see, again, hosting workshops or working with some of these partners that we work with. But there's a lot of different ways that we can utilize a lot of different skills.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sarah. I was going to say workshops, those people who have, a background and certain expertise would be great, but connecting with Martinique, our volunteer coordinator, I hope I said her position right, would probably be one of the first steps. And she could probably fill you in on a lot of other opportunities and areas that people can take part.
And there's her email address.
All right, and I'm going to end this with this question, since it seems to be good for everyone to maybe have a quick answer for. What are you most excited for or see the most possibility in for the future of Families Together?
I'm excited about our increasing role in affordable housing development and preserving naturally occurring affordable housing that's being lost so rapidly in our area. Doing what we can to minimize that and turn housing into something that's safe, decent, and that people can afford, and continuing to do more along those lines.
Hi, this is Kelvin. I'm really excited about the work you've already done in advocacy and the power of that, and how that really has, the housing bond is just one example, but how that really does advance your mission, and not only while you're doing immediate things, but really lifting up the voices in community. And so we look forward to coming alongside and doing what we need to do to advance, and make homelessness a thing of the past.
I agree with Lisa. I felt like she couldn't have said it better. That is what I'm most excited about as well.
That's what I was going to say too, Sarah. I am just really excited about the overall vision that the agency has right now, which ultimately will create the stability that our clients need for generations, not just now. And also that we don't have that repeat of homelessness where we see the clients this year and we see them again next year. The vision to do the work that we do for long-term stability and impact on our families.
Star, anything we missed or anything you'd want to add?
I'm excited about the future of Families Together and them continuing to keep families together like myself, and plenty of others out there to turn around and become contributing members of our community.
Wonderful. Well, I think that is all the questions that we have. I just wanted to say thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you for coming on and sharing all of your knowledge and expertise. And thank you to everyone who took time out of their day to learn more about our program. And as I mentioned, the state of affordable housing in Wake County and the goals that we have to try to continue to build affordable housing and make a difference for those families experiencing homelessness. So thank you all so much for your time today. Learn more at familiestogethernc.org, and remember that triple match day is coming up next Tuesday, April 27th. Thank you all so much and enjoy the rest of your day.